The horrifying truth unraveled when a teenage girl fell victim to a brutal murder within the confines of this man's home. In a chilling act, he dismembered her body and callously flushed the remains down the toilet. Fate intervened when his unsuspecting neighbors called a plumber to investigate the mysterious drain blockage, ultimately preventing his potential escape from justice.
We're wondering if you remember that.
It's obvious that I did.
And again, if not for, apparently the plumbing was all up in that house. That aided in
my capture
and your capture.
Yeah.
Shockingly, this wasn't his initial killing spree. Unsettlingly, this is the dreadful instance of the bodies of teenage girls whose dismembered fragments were discovered within the toilet plumbing. Around 8 p.m. on September 11th, 2017, in Oshawa, Canada, a distressing incident occurred. An 11-year-old boy and his grandfather, who were fishing near Lake Ontario Harbor, observed an unsettling sight: a peculiar object swaying in the water. As they approached, their horror grew when they realized it was a severed woman's torso.
The busy spot along the waterfront is now a disturbing crime scene.
The discovery made by a fisherman and his grandson. They saw a torso in the water.
Lots of questions tonight, very few answers. Who was this woman? Where did she come from? Who wanted her dead? We know that her body was found in the water by the pier behind me, but where was she murdered?
Despite a post-mortem examination, the cause of death could not be ascertained for the severed body part. However, the coroner noted clear indications of trauma on the torso. Authorities swiftly classified the case as a homicide, initiating immediate efforts to identify the unfortunate woman.
Then the daunting task is to take all these missing persons reports, get DNA from the family members of all those people, and then one at a time have them swab their cheek, send that off to the Center of Forensic Sciences, and that'll be compared to the DNA on the body.
In a gripping turn of events, it took an arduous 2 months of DNA analysis for law enforcement to unveil the identity of the victim, none other than 18-year-old Rori Hache. Tragically, her family had last glimpsed her presence in August 2017. Rori, a radiant soul, possessed a remarkable blend of beauty, compassion, and intellect. With an unwavering love for animals and dreams of becoming a veterinarian, her potential shone brightly. However, Rori's path was fraught with the burdens of substance addiction, which at times coerced her onto perilous streets, courting danger at every turn.
Rori left, first week of high school. I feel that was the beginning of the end for us. I fell into the wrong crowd and started coming home with a different attitude, a different self-pride about herself. Like everything was just different within the first month. It was very noticeable. I have no idea who would have wanted to hurt her because she was so good to everybody.
But before she went missing, her family said that Rori was trying to put her life back on track after finding out that she was pregnant. Sadly, she never got the chance to do that. 18-year-old Rori Hache is taken to the emergency room by her friend and her friend's mom. She was described as having some sort of a mental episode. The mother made a decision to take her up to the hospital to have her checked. Then suddenly, the mother and daughter that brought her there left, leaving Rori in the care of the hospital. Rori sits in the waiting room for 15 minutes before leaving. For whatever reason, she ended up leaving before she was actually seen by a physician. She was seen exiting the hospital on her own. That was the last known sighting we had of Rori Hache. So what happened to her, and how did her torso end up in a lake 2 weeks later? Then there was a random call from a plumber to the police.
I'm a plumber and I'm on site for a job. We're snaking a drain, and we've been pulling back. We probably pulled back about 10 pounds, 15 pounds of it looks like flesh type of stuff, meat, and we don't know what it is.
Minutes later, police arrive at a rental property and meet with the couple who called the plumbers. The couple says the problem started with their downstairs neighbor, 45-year-old Adam Strong. The man was 45-year-old Adam Strong. Not much is known about Adam, other than that he sometimes worked as a gas station attendant and a security guard on movie sets. His social media is also filled with disturbing posts about how he's not being able to find a woman who could accept his twisted fantasies. He also posted pictures of blades and handcuffs on Facebook, with the captions reading, "Home is where my handcuffs hang." The issue started several days ago.
One any plumbers called. He tried snaking the drain himself. He was taking efforts to fix it.
But it was getting so bad that the pipes were backing up into the people's bathtubs. Then people upstairs just took it upon themselves to call a plumber. The officers on the scene decided to knock on the door of Adam Strong's basement apartment. They recall him putting his head down and making a comment almost instantaneously that the jig's up. It's a body. Adam Strong is immediately taken into custody. While in the squad car out front, he has more information for officers.
He commented to the arresting officer, if you want the rest of her, she's in my freezer, and she's pretty defleshed. And there, in fact, was somebody in the freezer, as Adam said.
Rori had a distinct tattoo. She had the word "alive" tattooed on her neck. And when they looked through the freezer, they found a human head, and there was a tattoo clearly displayed. Officer knew right then that it's Rori. Adam's bodily fluids would also be discovered on her body, indicating that he had violated her before she died. A medical examiner found that Rori had suffered multiple injuries on her body, including 2 skull fractures that seemed to have been caused by a hammer. However, due to the state that her body was in, it was not clear whether the injuries were caused before or after she died. Detectives charge Adam Strong with indignity to a body.
We didn't know at that point what the cause of death was.
To lay that charge, you need the grounds. The decision was made to continue the investigation to see where it takes them. Detectives have 24 hours to interview Strong before his bail hearing. After this hearing, he cannot be interviewed again without a court order, and Strong has already met with a lawyer.
You said to the officers, if you're looking for the rest of her, you'll find her in the freezer. My question to you is the person in that freezer, Rori?
I decline to answer that question.
Okay. You're saying you decline to answer it, but you're shaking your head this way. Does that mean anything?
No.
Okay. Any interest from you at all in telling us your side of things?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay. All right.
I was told these things go on for like hours. Is that true? Again, it's true.
After 3 hours of doing it, it was clear we weren't going to get anywhere.
Excuse me.
We were just going in circles.
Obviously, you don't care enough to help. Are the tissue softener needed? Why, do you want some? No, I'm good. Yeah.
Let's just shut it down now. We could have sat there for another 3 or 6 hours. I don't think we were going to get any different results.
Great, you know what? We'll walk you back.
Really?
Police said, "Really, all I got from that interview was a sense of who Adam was to help us go in further down the road with the investigation." Police said, "It was the worst apartment I've ever been in because of the clutter and dirt and mess. You could barely move because of a few little walkways in there. There was a number of sex toys located in the apartment, including devices, handcuffs, and whatnot. There was a bent hammer we had located Rori's DNA on. Rori's running shoes were located in a bag in the apartment. There was blood spatter located on the wall, and bottom baseboards leading into Adam's bedroom. That knife's only designed for one use and one use only. It's a knife used by hunters for cutting and skinning animals. To a logical person, it doesn't make sense. You keep all that evidence around, but it seems to be the way Adam thought. The DNA that was located on that knife, it wasn't through blood. It was tissue-like material. We sent that knife off for analysis. We received the results back. That knife contained the DNA of a second female. The second victim was a 19-year-old female who went missing in 2008, and very much like Rori, she was out of the house on her own. Both victims were in their late teens, and both victims were more of a petite build, longer, brown hair. Almost a splitting image of each other. She went missing 10 years prior, and Adam went undetected for 10 years. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Her dad said that he had tried reporting it to the police, but they dismissed him because she was living in the streets, so they launched a Facebook page to help search for her. However, over the years, they did not hear anything about her until now. Thursday, November 8th, 2018, 4:55 p.m. 11 months after his first interrogation, Strong sits down for a second one. This time, Strong is facing 2 first-degree murder charges.
I think anytime you tell a family or the parents of locating their DNA in a residence, widely publicized as much as 19 McMillan has been, it's shocking to them.
Even though there was substantial evidence against him, and he had already informed the police about the location of the remaining parts of Rori's body, Adam refused to admit to the killings of Rori and Candace. Instead, he insisted that he merely got rid of their bodies. During the questioning, Adam remained surprisingly calm and relaxed, discussing the dismemberment of Rori's body in a casual manner, as if it held no significance.
So, the 24th is when you start this, just the Christmas Eve? Yeah. Main thing you do is, well, it's frozen or partially defrosted, completely defrosted. Oh. Now that would take several hours. No, not bathtub, hot water.
He exhibited a complete lack of remorse for his actions and, astonishingly, appeared to take pride in his deeds. In fact, he went as far as expressing his satisfaction to the detective, proclaiming that flushing Rori's body was an incredible method of disposing of a corpse.
Okay, how much of her body did you guys get back? Obviously the entire skeleton structure, right?
Well, we obviously, whatever was in the house.
Yes, in the freezer.
Yes.
And how much of it were you able to pull out of the pipes?
It was bad luck.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. They're like, you're stupid. I'm like, you kidding me?
Well,
that's an awesome way.
Yeah.
I just got greedy, that's all.
Nevertheless, although he readily confessed to decapitating Rori, he remained tight-lipped about the details of how he had killed the 2 teenagers. Curiously, he demanded certain privileges in exchange for divulging such crucial information, expressing a desire for a comfortable life behind bars with internet access. By keeping his secrets concealed, he aimed to secure a more relaxed existence within the confines of prison.
Spilling the beans. And being as comfortable as I can in jail. Not like $100,000 like Pigden, but like an allowance. I don't know. I don't know. Like internet access, like a TV. Like I don't have anybody who's gonna buy me a TV.
Adam faced charges of 2 counts of first-degree murder in the cases of both Rori and Candace. Throughout the trial, the prosecution argued that even though Candace's body remained undiscovered, it was likely that Adam had killed her in a similar manner to Rori. Exploiting the vulnerability of the 2 teenagers who were homeless and grappling with substance abuse, Adam believed they would go unnoticed. In his defense, Adam claimed that the teens had died from an overdose and he merely disposed of their bodies to avoid being implicated. However, the judge dismissed his claims, leading to Adam's conviction for first-degree murder of Rori in March 2021. He received a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 25 years. Additionally, he was sentenced to 18 years in prison for manslaughter in Candace's case due to insufficient evidence of intentional killing. Both sentences would be served concurrently.
The cries of victory from those closest to Rori Hache and Candace Fitzpatrick after learning Adam Strong, guilty of first-degree murder and manslaughter, is now going away to prison for good.
It does not change the fact that our girls are not coming home, but today we let them rest. Today this monster's off our street, and he's no longer a part of our day. He's no longer a part of our lives.
In his remarks, Justice Joseph DeLuca addressed Strong directly, saying, "Your moment before us is done. You are a dangerous predator who will never be seen in public again."
However, the narrative continues. In November of 2021, nearly 14 years after her disappearance, Candace's remains were ultimately discovered. It was Adam who guided the authorities to the concealed location where he had concealed them all those years.
We conducted an operation which led us to a small clearing by the tree line behind Secreto Drive in Oshawa. I can confirm today that the remains found last November are those of Candace Fitzpatrick.
I would appreciate your insights on this case. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated with more content.